I am Dracula. I bid you welcome.
It's alive!
Listen to them. Children of the night. What music they make.
Google gobble, Google gobble.
We belong dead.
Have a potato.
Welcome to this episode of The Good, the Bad and the Universal with your hosts Mark and Sam. This time we'll be talking about 1934's The Black Cat. Hi Sam.
Hi.
Right, so this one's got Boris Karloff, again credited as Karloff, rather than Boris
Still
Karloff.
kind of confused about why they did that.
Don't know, I think he was just known as Karloff. It's a bit like, I don't know, Andre de Giorgio. Oh, I don't know. Who knows? But they just credit him as Karloff. Now, we're jumping around a bit, haven't we? Because we did watch Bride of Frankenstein. What did we watch last time? Was it Bride? It was Bride of Frankenstein, wasn't it? Yeah. And that was made the year after this, actually. But funny enough, The Black Cat premiered on the 3rd of May, 1934. And it's the 3rd of May today when we're doing this recording. I'm hoping to try and get this out as well on the 3rd of May. So it's on the anniversary of the 81 years ago the film came out.
Yeah.
So it's kind of synergy, I think. It's no, what do I mean? I mean
Yeah, synergetic.
coincidence. Oh, I don't know. So it seems appropriate. Anyway, we watched it yesterday. What do you think of this one?
It was pretty good at places.
It was. It's one of the more striking of the Universal because it's so radically different from all the others. Do you think that's fair?
Yeah.
Of the universe, I know we've seen Freaks, which is his own thing.
Yeah.
But of the Universals
Oh, boy.
we've watched, which is Frankenstein, Dracula, the Bride of Invisible Man, Bride of Frankenstein, and we've watched a few others. This one is distinctly non-gothic
Yeah.
in look and feel. It's gothic in tone, perhaps, but the place the guy lives, that where most of the film takes place, is very, very kind of, I don't know, I think it's Bauhaus or Art Deco style. It's one of those that would look futuristic even now. It's one of those kind of places, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite a striking set of art direction going on in this movie. And they don't give any rationale for it, do they? They just
No, it's just sort of, he's a really good architect.
but inside design is not architecture, but I guess, or maybe it was back then. I don't really know, because certain things change over time, don't they?
Yeah.
And it's quite a striking house. The slide doors, for example. And I
And
also
all of the guest rooms are connected.
and no one knocks, which is the really creepy
Yeah.
thing. No, they just walk into each other's rooms. It's bizarre.
They're just striding sort of thing.
The film is flawed.
Yeah.
Definitely. Let's go through what you didn't like about it first, and I'll say too. What
I didn't like
about
how it just seemed to sort of lose its own story. It didn't seem to follow anything. It's just like, oh wait, he's a bad guy. Oh, I guess now he is.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. Like the Lugosi's manservant kept switching
size without any explanation. There was a lot of things happen in this film that had no explanation, like Lugosi. Well, they had some explanation, but they didn't. It wasn't anything to do with the story. It's like Lugosi's fear of cats. I guess that's to call it Black Cat.
Yeah.
He kills a cat. Nothing said about it. He basically kills it by throwing a knife throwing.
Yeah.
Which is pretty expert knife throwing.
Yeah. Impressive, but he did kill a cat.
But then we see the cat later. But they do talk about the cat being dead.
Yeah, but they also talk about the cat not
Having 9
being
lives.
able to die or something like that.
This film is very, very. The plot is quite incoherent. Sorry, the specifics of the. I think the plot makes sense, but
Overall, yeah.
the
but,
execution of plot is quite incoherent, isn't it?
yeah.
Like some of the conversations are truly bizarre. And also they go on about he built this house on this battle scene where the men were 12 deep, the dead and dying were 12 deep at the height of the battle, and things like that. And it's
Wow.
like- and also when you see the house for the first time, it's like loads of crosses, grave
Yeah.
markers.
But then they get inside and it looks like some sort of 60s idea of the future.
Yeah, it's very, very odd. So anyway, we get Lugosi and Karloff are the big act. I mean, there's 4 main actors, 5 if you count the manservant. Well, actually, a few more. There's a manservant. There's also like a butler type who's very weird and creepy, and like a house woman, like a housekeeper woman as well, who pops on early on. The manservant barely talks though, like you're saying. They keep kind of. Anyway, the main principals of Karloff and Lugosi.
Yeah.
What do you think of their performances?
Their performances were both brilliant, despite Karloff's stupid haircut.
Karloff had a really weird haircut that looked like a DA, actually, but it was from the 30s. It was kind of really weird. And I think Karloff always gives a good performance.
Yeah.
Lugosi was pretty outstanding in this. He had a full range of emotions going on, didn't he?
Yeah.
And
this is really one of Lugosi's few good guy roles. Where he's playing a
and it's good
protagonistic
guy. And
force.
what he gets up, I mean,
Well, I say good guy, he's a protagonist instead of an antagonist.
I mean, he is a good guy. He is sinned against rather than sinning.
Sinning.
But the things he does at the end,
Yeah.
which are completely understandable, kind
Yeah.
of, because I presume he's kind of been driven mad by the final revelation. I mean, we're going to say this, spoilers. Basically, Karloff,
It's an
sound him up the
80-year-old
river.
film.
It's a revenge story, you see.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fever dream of a film rather than a drama. It's so beyond
Yeah.
drama. I mean, it's beyond melodrama. It's kind of feverish. I think I mentioned to you the writing, the style of the whole film, including the art direction, was kind of reminding me of Flash Gordon.
Yeah,
Where
it
they-
didn't help with that, as I said, 60s sort of future art design.
Yeah,
It did look a lot like the Mondo Palace or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it did. Mongo. In
Yeah.
Mongo. Yeah. And then the music too was very. I mean, the music.
Yeah.
That music
The
was used in
music,
Flash
bleeding
Gordon,
now.
so that kind of reminds you of Flash Gordon.
Let's talk about the music for a bit and how it,
It was
present
incessant.
everywhere.
It was absolutely incessant.
It
One
was
bit that
always blasting out. They never quietened it down.
most of it was kind of Swan Lake, but not all of it.
Yeah.
There was one bit.
And there were points where you couldn't hear the actors over the music.
Yes, it was super loud. But there was one bit that's probably an old horror film cliche now, but I'm pretty sure it was the first time it was used in the film. Karloff starts playing a pipe organ.
Yeah.
That's I think it's Handel, but
Fugue, I think.
that bit,
Yeah.
He starts playing that at one point. Lugosi, as I say, has quite a full range of acting, and you at one point you remarked he kind of reminds you of Ricardo Montalban.
Yeah, he's got that
His
same sort of
delivery.
really charismatic foreigner sort of thing going for him in his films.
It's funny. He does. You were right. He did. As soon as you said it, it's like, oh yeah, I can definitely see that.
And he even kind of looked a bit like him when he was sitting on the train.
Yeah. He was very dapper in this,
Yeah.
wasn't he? He was like wearing a modern suit. It wasn't Dracula like.
No.
It was like modern suits.
So there were a few bits where he was doing the whole Dracula glare sort of thing.
And some of the clothes Karloff wore were just
Yeah.
unbelievable. They were very either Oriental or very. I don't know. There was a smoking jacket. It was like, wow,
Yeah.
wow, that is a bit camp. It was almost a camp film, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was definitely camp elements. It was so overblown and over dramatic. But I don't think it was the acting that was over dramatic. It
No.
was the whole direction,
Set design.
the set design, and everything. And there was some really weird stuff going on. There was like a revolving dungeon, and also there was two other main characters. This young married couple that happened to be on the bus with. They were
Yeah.
honeymooning. They were on the bus with Lugosi when it got driven off the road, and he took
Yeah.
them to Karloff's house. But then it turns out Karloff's the head of Oh, well, yeah, for a bit of night reading, Karloff starts reading The Rights of Lucifer
Yeah.
to get to sleep for his arm. It's like, what?
Well, lying
and-
next to his wife, who's sort of lying there like
Just
Lily
lying
Munster.
Yeah, oh yeah, and he's got all these women in glass, behind glass in
Yeah,
the
that's-
corridors.
Weird. I
It is
mean,
weird. It is weird. It reminded me a bit of Mr. Freeze and Batman, actually.
kind of.
Yeah, and there was one with her hair up, which reminded me
Yeah.
of Bride of Frankenstein as well.
Yeah.
And they were wearing quite. It wasn't like quite revealing.
You could
outfits,
see their
these women.
nipples.
Yeah, essentially, you could definitely see their, their feminine features. Let's put it that way. It was almost like they were just wearing quite thin sheets.
Yeah.
in effect, wasn't it? But they were like hanging up, and his wife was very passive too, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
he kills her. No one says anything. He
Well, I mean,
Well, you think he could, doesn't
Lugosi kind of does.
well, when the good comes out, yeah. Let me just say, Karloff's evil in this.
Yeah.
he basically sounds.
This is possibly
Lugosi
the
up
most
river.
evil film character I may have seen, except some Nazi characters.
He's awful. He basically sailed Lugosi up the river, put him in a prisoner of war camp, I think, for 15 years, in which Lugosi had returned from. But he knew that Karloff had told his wife, Lugosi's wife, that Lugosi had died, and
Yeah.
then Karloff had married her, even though he knew Lugosi hadn't died. And then
Then they somehow
Karloff
got
says
like
he died.
she died.
She died
She died.
of pneumonia, but we don't
Yeah,
really know the
but-
details of that.
I do like how he's like, oh, she died of pneumonia, and Lugosi's almost immediately like, no, she didn't. Tell me the truth.
Yeah. And he says, what about my daughter? And he says, she died too. But in fact, no, he married her and she's been in
this
bed
is-
all the and he
She spends
tells her
the
to stay in
entire
bed.
film in bed, apart from the last part.
And she's kind of an interesting, well, she's kind of charismatic. The actress
Yeah.
playing her, but doesn't speak much. But she does it in a really weird...
She's got this sort of
almost drugged
dainty-
out. She's almost drugged
Yeah.
out, but quite dignified.
Yeah, sort of dainty sort of thing.
Yeah, she is dainty, but she's kind of aloof. But it
Yeah.
feels like she's been drugged. That's kind of how it feels.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say she probably was.
Either that, or she'd been kind of, cult brainwashed. kind
Yeah.
of. I don't know. It's really weird. But when Lugosi found out what had happened to his daughter, he went
boy.
completely mad. This is probably the first. I'm going to hazard a guess. This might be the first time someone was flayed in a movie,
Yeah.
which is
Probably.
pretty grim. There might be an earlier one in one of the. Cecil B. DeMille made all those mental. He made a lot. This old silent director. He also went into sound. Made all these biblical epics full of sex and violence on the basis they're
Okay.
Bible tales, so they're okay to watch. And of course, they
Brilliant.
said to let them through, but they were like red
It
hot.
reminds me of that scene in Simpsons where Bart goes through and cuts out all the dirty words from the Bible and to show that he could use these ones.
Yeah, nice. There was a touch of that. I've forgotten what. Oh yeah, but a flying. He started
Yeah.
flying, Karloff. Whoa.
I think what makes it worse is the way they cut away. Because you see like Lugosi run up to a table, picks up this tiny scalpel, and sort of menacingly walks towards Karloff and like grabs him by the face and seems
And
to
he
start there
specifically says, "I am going to skin you piece by piece," or something
slowly.
something like that, which is really, really weird. The married couple were okay.
They were okay, but they were almost a non-part in the film.
Well, the thing is, every time the man tried to do something, he got knocked out.
Yeah.
She fainted a lot.
She fainted
There
and
was
screamed
a
and screamed and fainted.
really odd scene, which is the scene where Lugosi kills the cat, where she just appears, but she's been...
Well, she's been
sedated?
drugged because she got injured in this bus crash. So he's like sedated her or given her painkillers or something. And it's like she's gone loopy.
Yeah, and she's like...
She like walks up to
Really
Lugosi and
weird.
goes, "You have fear in your eyes.
Yeah. Stuff
And
like
you
that.
are a host." She goes to Karloff.
Do you know what that bit reminded me of? That
What?
when she started doing that, it reminded me of The Evil Dead, where the boring girlfriend becomes interesting once she becomes possessed.
Which Evil Dead film?
The first one,
Okay.
where the girlfriend is like really boring and dull, but as soon as she turns into a demon, she's kind of fun. Do you know what? In a weird.
I can barely... the first Evil Dead I can barely remember.
Okay. Well, the thing is, it's interesting that the fact is, the girl is dull until she becomes possessed. Then she's kind
Yeah.
of funny and weird and stuff. This is kind of that vibe too. It's the music just is a bit incessant. Luckily, it's only 65 minutes. The music's. I think you said the main character in this film's the music.
Yeah.
You said to me, which I can
I've
kind
made
of
that
see your
joke.
point there. Yeah, I'm not sure it was a joke. It was kind of really omnipresent.
Yeah.
Karloff is just super weird. Apparently, he based this on a guy called Aleister Crowley, who was like this guy who was famous.
I think
in
I've
the
heard of it. He was a
20s.
Satanist, right?
He was a Satan, a so-called Satanist.
I think he may also be the basis for Mr. Crowley.
The song.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. He was also the basis of. There's a famous book about Satanists called The Devil Rides Out, and there's a character in that called MacArthur, and that character was based on Aleister Crowley as well. Aleister Crowley, I think, is the basis for a lot of sort of bad guys in various media. Actually,
Yeah.
and I don't know much about him. Apparently, he was a Satanist, and he was happy. You know, he boasted about how much he knew and stuff like that. A lot of people felt he was perhaps one of these guys who's a bit of a show off. You know, or maybe even a bit self-deluded about what he was. Who knows? Who knows? But he was like a self-publicist, a bit like Russell Brand of his day, kind of thing.
Oh my God, Ron Hubbard was involved in Crowley's stuff.
Was he? Doesn't surprise me. Well, anyway, back to Black Cat. Yeah, it's an interesting film, definitely.
Yeah.
It is a fever dream of a film.
Yeah.
If you want coherency, forget it. It
Yeah.
was entertaining though. I find it quite entertaining. I really quite.
It did have some weird, like, completely out of nowhere comedy bits. Like, there's this bit where they have to give a police report on the bus crashing. And the police, as soon as this married couple tell them where they're going for their honeymoon, the police just start going on and on about local villages that look nice.
Yeah, and which one's better?
Trying
This
to
one or
outdo
that one?
each other.
That was supposed to be a comedy interlude. It really wasn't funny. It was kind of stupid, really. It was like a really, really poorly written Marx Brothers sketch.
Yeah.
Or something. It was really odd. There was another bit in this film that was almost like, wow, they were doing it 20 years before these guys were doing it. They actually started playing. Karloff and Lugosi started playing chess
Yeah.
for the life of the girl. Karloff wanted the girl as a human sacrifice for his satanic. Yeah, we didn't even mention he's got a satanic cult.
He's got a
Who all turn up. They all turn up.
All turn up and then
Run
they turn
away.
up in their sort of civilian gear and then put on their big black robes.
But when it goes pear-shaped, they all run away, don't
Yeah,
they?
they're all just gone.
When Lugosi kicks off and his
Yeah.
manservant and all that. But they're playing chess over this girl's life, which we never see the end of that game, by the way. We don't know what happened.
I assume Lugosi lost.
well,
he
it's never
seems to be
resolved.
going along with it.
But
at
it
the
made me
end.
laugh that they were doing that 20-odd years before the Seventh Seal had, Max von Sydow playing chess with death to distract him, to save someone. It's kind of funny. It just made me laugh. I did enjoy this film. I haven't got much else to say about it, though. I mean, the print we saw was pretty shocking, to be
Yeah.
honest. I think it was off YouTube, so it was
Wow.
pretty bad. But I did enjoy it. What would you give it out of 10?
I'd give it about a 6.
6. I'll give it an 8. I think I enjoyed it more than you. In fact, I watched it about a year or maybe 2 years ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed it for the first time, and I quite enjoyed it then. It is nuts. It's completely nuts, and there's something about it that just feels Flash Gordon through and through. It's really
Yeah.
good. And of course, Flash Gordon is a Universal property, and it uses a lot of the music from these horror films. And I had a very strong suspicion the art design in this film was also the same crew or people involved was art direction in Flash Gordon, but I couldn't find any proof of that, so I don't know for sure.
So,
I just
I was just thinking of like this with Queen blasting in the background. So,
Yeah.
so
different thing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, next time I think we're intended to watch Werewolf of London, which is the very first werewolf film ever. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
All right then. So bye from me.
bye.